10 years ago, I was dreaming about building a career in STEM. I was specifically like you. At the Great Minds in STEM conference in New Orleans in 2014, and it was specifically at the career fair where I met the person that eventually became my boss at General Motors. He advocated for me, and I had the opportunity to collaborate at the Manufacturing Systems Research Lab of GM. That was a major milestone. It was a major professional and personal milestone. Not only because I was hired by a world-class company, but also because I was international student. 10 years later, I am honored to have been recognized as the chip star of today and HINAC luminary. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining to my talk. And today, I'm going to talk about AI and you, building a career that thrives in the age of intelligence. Again, my name is Carlos Escobar. I'm a senior principal machine learning at Howmet Aerospace. I hold over 15 years of experience in research lab at Harvard, Amazon, General Motors, and currently I have the opportunity to be part of the leading efforts in the aerospace industry. Before diving in, just a quick disclaimer. This presentation reflects my view and has not been evaluated and approved by Howmet Aerospace. But what is different? What is different in this AI revolution? Or let's start by what is the AI revolution? It's a driving force of the fifth industrial revolution, where technology amplifies human intelligence and creativity. It's not only about automation. It's about using machines to solve complex engineering problems, such as the autonomous driving, finding cure for autism, developing cancer treatments, but also, for example, Ph.D. students. They can finish their degree within 6 to 12 months earlier with higher quality of work and less burnout. So what is different in this tech shift? And I'm gonna refer to Geoffrey Hinton, the Nobel Prize in Physics, also considered the godfather of artificial intelligence. And that's what it is. Now machines can think. This activity was mainly reserved for humanity. Since machines can think now, they can review 50 contracts in a few minutes, whereas a lawyer will take 1 or 2 hours reviewing each of them. Artificial intelligence can drive safer and longer. We can use prompt engineering to write code. And the code that we will get might be better than most of the engineers, most of the code that any engineer can write, or even propose a neural network that is going to be successful with very little interactions. But the main concern, or one of the main concerns for this talk, is that artificial intelligence can review 1,100 or 1,000 resumes, rank them, and just give 5 resumes to the hiring manager. That doesn't mean that those 5 resumes are the best. We have artificial intelligence bias. And that is the intention of this talk, to try to give you some tools to address this challenge. Going back to the 1,000 applications, 2 interviews, no job problem. I I was there. I had been there. When I recently came to United States, I was studying in New Mexico State University. And 98% of my job interviews last 30 to 45 seconds, 1 or 2 minutes at most. Why? I just needed to wait for the question, do you need now or in the future a sponsorship? And when I answered yes, it was immediately, thank you for applying. So that situation of being an international student, it adds another layer of complexity. But now, with this experience, we can start solving the 1,000 applications, 2 interviews, not your problem. I have 3 general recommendations, 1 tailored recommendation for different area of STEM. Recommendation number 1, learn how the applicant tracking system works. For this recommendation, let's start for each of you to build your resume. Describe your experience, whatever you feel most passionate about, and that is your draft. But after that, let's do some reverse engineering. Let's use ChatGPT, upload your resume, and ask any of these large language models, hey, this is my interest, help me to find good jobs for me. And then you will get a lot of different options. Now, let's do retrieval, drag or retrieval augmented generation. Upload your CV, upload the job description, and say, hey, help me to tailor my resume to this particular job. And then you will get a resume that contains the description that the algorithm is actually looking. So that's how we're gonna crack the human resources algorithm. It's also important to write a brief cover letter, and don't forget to include kind of your personality. If you go to LinkedIn, at the end you will see that I'm talking about martial arts. I was in the Mexican national team, and I'm fan of Rocky Balboa. So just make sure to add something so it doesn't look that it was just machine generated. Some part of your personality, that is also important. And then whenever you're invited for an interview, again, come back, upload that conversation and say, hey, I'm getting this interview, read whatever they are looking for, and help me to prepare for this interview. That is recommendation number 1. Recommendation number 2, prioritize networking over mass applications. Spend 80% of your time networking and just 20% of job applications. How you can do that? This is a great opportunity for network. Reach out to your mentor, become part of your associations within the school, go to LinkedIn, send invitations to connect, and send a follow-up message. Every time that I have received an invitation to connect, and someone is interested in applying to any of the jobs in which I'm working, that gets my attention. So I really appreciate that person is doing the extra mile. So I will always be happy to help. And I'm sure that is a widely situation. So make sure to work on your networking. Again, most of the recruiters work on referrals. So if you get any of the person inside of the company to refer you, that is much more important than just automatically sending applications. And then for recommendation number 3, build your public profile. Every time that you send an application and the algorithm has selected you and you're recommended for an interview, highly likely the hiring manager is gonna go online and type your name. Make sure you have something interesting there. And how you can do that? You can go over LinkedIn and write articles. Whoever is doing computer science, you can contribute to GitHub. Uploading your own code, describing your solutions. Blogs, articles like Medium, those are good options. And community engagement. It is important for the employer to see that you are not also learning, you are also contributing to the community. And finally, I have some tailored recommendation. If you're in the computer science field, make sure you learn some other specific areas, such as finance, healthcare, cybersecurity, robotics, and make sure that you upload these projects to these GitHub repositories. If you're an engineer, of course, it is important for you to learn Python and artificial intelligence algorithms. And if you're a scientist, again, artificial intelligence have the capacity to accelerate scientific discoveries up to 10 times. So make sure you are using artificial intelligence to develop hypotheses and generate new knowledge. Finally, if you're a mathematician or a statistician, we're relying on your contributions to develop new and better algorithms. And before going to Q&A, when I was in New Mexico State, I faced this situation of being international student in a good university, New Mexico State University, but it was not an Ivy League. And I saw how many of my colleagues in the different labs, they were thinking that it was very hard for us to find a job in the United States as an international student. I never lost the hope. I kept focused, and every single interview I was invited, I took it. And every time that I failed to answer the question correctly, I went back, Googled the question, and make sure what the employer was looking in each of these questions. And every time that I got a new interview, I was getting better. And that was the reason I was ready when the time came for me, when I was interviewed by GM. So everyone here, I think, is a great mind in STEM. My recommendation is to keep optimistic, keep learning, and keep applying. Thank you.